Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to the Dog Bowl Food Truck. Last episode, we did it. We did it. We got out. But what if? What if things went differently? What if, rather than encouraging Carl to stand on his own 2 feet and have him realize he is all that he needs, he himself, he alone, is all that he needs. What if we encourage him to continue to allow his life to be dictated by other people? What if we allowed him to continue to rely so heavily on everybody else around him? What if we told him to ride that high of possession? Well, I don't exactly like the idea of whatever it is changing Carl, influencing him. It might be our only choice. I think you should probably let it. Yeah? Carl looks at me and I can tell he's a little surprised. Maybe it's basically trying to help us, right? And if it's James, he knows exactly what we need to do. Yeah. Carl sounds a little reluctant, but I can tell he's starting to agree with me. And it'll only be for the time that we're here. He just wants to show us his story and then we can get out. I don't mention that a more confident Carl will make everything easier as well. I just had to make sure that he and Jenna were carefully kept separate. Either way, we are in this together. I'll make sure things don't get out of hand between you and it. We sit there for a while, Carl absorbing what I'd just said. It's clear that whatever is influencing Carl and probably Jenna is powerful, and we had to be careful. Whatever he decides, I just pray it's the right decision. I wake up groggily, my head throbbing a bit from laying on the stiff pillow. Like the last time I woke up, it takes me a while to realize where I am. And just like last time, I get a sinking feeling in my stomach when I realize where that is. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna be real, we already read this part. There wasn't much I could do. Something comes of it. Okay, here we go. Suddenly I feel my arm slide over my hip, and I stiffen. Carl breathes into the back of my neck. What's up? I shiver as he breathes against my neck. Nothing, just thinking about a bunch of things. Carl suddenly squeezes my ass hard. I yelp and jump as he chuckles. Dude, what the hell? I whisper, trying to keep my voice down for fear of Raven and Jenna hearing, especially Jenna. Carl doesn't say anything, choosing to nuzzle the fur on the back of my neck while he grinds his hips against me. I guess it's okay since we're sort of made things official last night? Still, his behavior feels like it's coming out of nowhere. Are you okay? He chuckles. Yeah, everything's fine now that I've got your tight butt here in front of me. I turn my head and squint back at him. Are you acting like this because of James, or because you're just trying to be more confident? Carl just gazes back at me with half-lidded eyes before he starts waggling his brows. I turn away again and lay my head on the pillow. Well, I think you're trying too hard. Just let it come natural. Carl dives in again and starts nuzzling my neck, running his hands over my body. I writhe and try not to laugh, but it's no use, and soon I'm letting out full-on guffaws. Wait, stop! He doesn't let up, though, and it's not until we hear voices drifting up from downstairs that we do stop. It sounds like Raven, but I'm pretty sure he's talking to Jenna. I roll to my back in Carl's arms and turn my head to him. We gotta keep it down. Yeah, see, immediately, this is already very different, because if I recall, last time there was no butt grabbing, and instead it was Chase, giving Carl's belly some tickles. And it was very cute, very sweet. Now it's this. I guess we're being a little loud. Yeah, how's your nose? I believe we've seen this dialogue before. Carl starts lazily drawing circles on my chest with a finger. I mean, didn't that ghost, ancestor, whatever it was, tell you that we needed to find stuff? Carl rubs his nose. Yeah, in the last place we were in, at least. Yeah, We've seen this before. What about your ankle? Okay, I apologize if this might seem a little... Carl holds onto me for a while longer, giving my neck one last nuzzle before letting me go. Let's see, I apologize that I'm just kind of speeding through this. But like I said, I don't know what all has changed, so as I'm reading, I'm trying to... Well, I don't have an eidetic memory or anything. I'm assuming that this will become obvious when something has changed. Wait a minute. That's different. It's a small place, but there are so many nooks and crannies in this place that it could be in a million places. Maybe we should assign halves. I pause as I hear loud clopping coming down from the stairs. Jenna pauses too, her ears perked. What the fuck is that ram doing? Sure enough, the ram suddenly comes swinging around the opening to the stairs. I shake my head vigorously at him, but he ignores me. Jenna stands there stiffly, arms folded tightly. Hey, Carl, weren't you looking around upstairs? Carl stands there in the doorway, looking at me with a grin. I know where it is. My eyes widen. Really? Upstairs? He ignores me again, instead, walking around me to the end of the room. He halts in front of the wood-burning stove. Carl, what are you doing? Again, he doesn't say anything. Instead, yeah, last time Jenna found this. Yeah, Jenna found it in the stove last time, so this is already really different. Instead, kneeling to twist the metal handles on the stove door before letting it fall open. Jenna walks closer, but is sure to keep her distance, her arms still folded. Hey, what's going on? Raven looks around at us, not even bothering to read the room. Did you find something? Carl looks into the stove before slapping the top of the metal stove. Ha, here it is. What? But how? How did you know it was there, Carl? Jenna's voice is deep and husky again. Her expression is dark, her eyes narrowed at Carl. Carl ignores both of us and he reaches into the stove. His head is pressed up against the side of the stove as he strains to get whatever it is. I'm about to ask what it is again when he suddenly pulls back and punches the stove. God damn it! I jump. He suddenly turns around to face us, his eyes briefly resting on Jenna before he turns to me. Hey, I think you're small enough to get it. What? What am I getting? Carl! As if he hasn't heard any of us, he grabs me by the arm and pulls me to the stove. What? Hey! Don't worry about it. Carl finally responds to Jenna, though he keeps his grip on me as he gets out of the way and positions me in front of the stove. He's just getting me something. I can't quite reach it because I'm fat. He pushes me down to duck in toward the opening and points to the back of the stove upwards where the chimney is. See that? White piece of paper. I'm barely able to make out a white smudge in the sea of darkness. Yeah. That's our ticket out of here. He gives me a slight nudge in the back. I normally wouldn't have a problem crawling into a unlit stove, but something about the setting being a haunted cabin makes me nervous. He gives me another nudge before, more insistent this time, and I slowly crawl onto the edge of the stove. It's a tight fit, but I am skinny enough to make it. I decide to sit on the ledge of the opening while the rest of my body stretches inside. The smell is smoky and the air is cool. I wonder subconsciously if the chimney might lead up into the house, or into the outside. I reach up towards the chimney, feeling around the rough metallic surface before I make contact with a stiff piece of folded paper. I close my fingers around it and pull, getting just a little resistance before it comes loose. At that moment, something caresses my hands. Rough, tipped fingers that almost lovingly run up my wrist and arm. I yelp and jump, banging my head against the roof of the stove. I fall sideways into the ash-filled bottom. I'm on the verge of panic when Carl reaches in and pulls me out, banging my head again as I fall onto the wooden floor. What the fuck? That's so different! What the fuck happened? That's so fucking different! It didn't even, like, attack Chase. It just kind of was like, ooh, spooky, I'm here, woo. Whereas with Jenna, it tried to fucking, again, it tried to, like, Krampus, like, frickin' vacuum swoop her up into the frickin' chimney. That is something else. Oh my gosh, okay. What happened? Are you alright? Something grabbed me. I rubbed my head with one hand, the other clutching onto the paper. Carl roughly pats my clothes, sending clouds of ash into the air. I cough and sputter, feeling all kinds of grit in my throat. Might have just been imagining it. Who knows what kind of shit is dangling in that chimney. Yeah. I frown at Carl. How did you know where it was? He grins at me. Same way it happened last time. So it is paying off. Oh well, at least we have someone giving us some direction in this place. Jenna snorts, but I choose to ignore her. I look at the old, yellowed piece of paper in my hands. It's a lot older looking than the photocopied newspaper that had burned up earlier. So, you think that's what we need to find? Raven asks excitedly, staring at the paper. It is. After a few more hacks, I finally manage to start get my breathing under control. I make my way towards the candle for better light. Well, I guess I'll read this out. So again, already this is immediately so different. Because I remember Jenna was gonna get swooped up the chimney, and then they finally got her out, and then she had the paper, and she was walking towards the candle, but everybody thought she was gonna burn that. So now Chase is walking towards the candle, and a hand suddenly grabs my wrist. Confused, I pull it away instinctively, and that's when someone grabs at the paper, at the same time shoving me back. Jenna! Her face is locked and determined, grabbing my wrist and pulling at the paper with the other hand. I probably would have given her the paper if she'd asked, but this sudden aggression has me automatically resisting. She grabs me and swings me around. We both fall against the bench under the window. Yeah, okay, hold on. Yep, we've been here before. When did she get so strong? Stepping on the bad foot. Try to grab Carl by the hoof. Carl's wrestling and scratching Jenna. That's fucking it. Raven saying stop it. Chase is on his bad leg. Gets Carl in the family jewels. He crumples over on top of Jenna, lying on her legs as he tries to pin his thighs together. Little cunt. Carl rears back and punches at her face, landing a glancing blow, but it's enough to snap her face to the side. Stop! I force myself between the two of them, shoving Carl's chest while straddling Jenna's neck. It's an awkward position, but I'm trying to protect her and stop her from retaliating at the same time. Stop it! What the hell are you doing? I say it to both of them as Carl tries to reach around me for the paper in Jenna's hand. Jenna snarls up at me, but it's softer this time. Her struggles die down, and after holding my gaze for about 10 seconds, she looks away. I notice a little bit of blood collecting on the front of her lips. He's not fighting anymore either, instead taking the paper from me and holding it firmly in his hands while he glares at Jenna. Raven. Raven, still with fingers twisted around his ears, looks over at me. Yeah? Take Jenna upstairs. Take a nap or something. Okay, yeah, we've been here. We've been here. Pain in the ankle. She was going to try to burn it. Still thinks burnt the paper. Mess up your ankle again. Whoa! Carl is really aggressive against her now. God, what a stupid bitch. Carl. He looks up at me. What? I've never heard you talk like that before. Carl shrugs, unfolding the paper. Well, I've never been attacked like that before. I look closely at his face. It's still Jenna. You hit her pretty hard. She kicked me in the nuts. Well, yeah, but I'm just... Also, counter-argument, Carl. How many times has Flynn got you in the boys, huh? And you're still... you still subscribe to Hemi fans. Carl doesn't seem very interested at all in what I'm trying to say. She's not herself either. I think the same thing's happening to her. Same thing. Like what's happening to you. We know Jenna had ancestors in Echo at the very beginning. What if she was being affected by an ancestor just like Carl is? But for some reason deep down, I feel very uneasy about bringing up John in front of this Carl. Even if they were lovers, something's clearly wrong now. Carl shrugs. She's always been kind of a bitch. I swallow down whatever I'm about to say next. Anyway, I'm gonna read this so we can move the fuck on, alright? Okay. I'm confused and worried. Did I make the wrong decision telling Carl what to do last night? This isn't like him at all. The ram holds up the letter, clearing his throat. Yep, we've seen this before. They say you've been accusing me of egregious monstrosities. Dare not believe it. Yep. Must be a misunderstanding. Did one of my political enemies tell you to do this? Why would you say this about me, even though I am absolutely a total piece of shit? My name is not James Hendricks. It is actually Jimothy Afton. I look up at Carl. He looks back at me. What do you think that means? John clearly did something terrible to James, right? Well, maybe, but what? It sounds like he tried to frame him for something. Hey, that newspaper article Barned said something about a kid that went missing. So John tried to pin this missing native boys on James. Well, we still don't know if John was doing it anyway. James doesn't seem to know either. I wonder if maybe the James inside of Carl has any idea of what's going on right now. If he does, he's not saying anything. He's in the middle of rereading the letter. Are your, balls okay? They're fine. Jenna's becoming dangerous the longer we're here. He's helping me, yeah, but John's not helping her at all. I look in the direction of the door as a loud click emanates from it. Oh, Jenna is way over there this time. I don't know if that's like, I don't know if that's like a completely intentional thing. But, that feels like she is way further away. That feels like there's extra space there. What the letters say... Chase lied to her last time. Yeah. Yeah, so Chase lies to her. Chase isn't sure. Now, last time he looked at Carl for support, and, you know, Carl being an anxious little thing he is, being the anxious cotton ball that he is, he agreed. If they're not helping us, why are we agreeing? Why are we playing their game? Fuck you, I didn't even realize that. Maybe we're still in Carl's house right now. Maybe we can wake ourselves up somehow. Trust me, we're going somewhere. The ram leaves it at that, and I'm left to wonder if James knows exactly where we're going. If he does, why doesn't Carl tell us now? How in control is he? It's something that I would have to bring up later, since I'm not going to be doing that in front of Jenna. You can stay here if you want, Otter. Which, again, that's so odd. Small bickering. Heading towards the fire. That's all we can see. I assume that's the right direction to go. You know, actually, now that I know this is basically one giant group hallucination, this makes me think of a movie that I got a little hyped up for, but then completely misunderstood what kind of movie it was going into it, and then was supremely, like, annoyed at the movie. It was a movie called Bug, where basically a lady has a missing child. Spoilers, I guess. And she meets a guy who insists there are tiny bugs in their hotel room apartment thing. And I thought it was going to be like a creepy movie about bugs that were like crawling all over you and whatnot, and then I got excited for that. But no, it's actually just a psychological thriller sort of thing. And they're like, just spoilers, there is no bugs. There's no fucking bugs, they're just crazy. And it ends, but God doesn't end. I'm sorry, run that back. Lean on me. I'm suddenly yanked sideways to lean against the ramp's sturdy He's not carrying Chase? Try to move faster. Oh, okay. Despite my best attempts, the going is slow, and not just because of my injured, probably broken ankle. The ground is uneven and rocky, like we're outside walking in the desert, which I realize is exactly what we're doing when we walk straight into what feels like a sagebrush. Carl thrashes around with the hand not holding on to me, and we're able to sort of stumble around it. Yeah, that's not really changed. Figure dancing around the fire. Close enough. Two rectangles of light. Framed by the light inside. I stop walking and Carl stops with me, looking back over his shoulder. What? I don't. Did one of the others go back? This time in the doorway of the house. I don't even have time to react to that before it steps forward and the door swings shut with a distant snap. Oppressive blackness takes its place. I grab onto Carl more tightly. What the hell? My mind flashes back to the black thing I'd seen crawling out of the wardrobe. Come on. I nudge Carl's side, and get him to hurry along while resisting the urge to try and run on my twisted ankle. I'm realizing that it might come to that. The drum is back. Wait, what? Carl's gripping onto me with both of his hands, practically hauling me off my feet as he pulls me along. See, this wouldn't have happened if you were carrying him to begin with. Suddenly he stops before almost growling at me. Jesus Christ, get on my back. He lets go and crouches down in front of me. Even with everything going on, I'm a bit hurt by his tone, like I'm the main problem right now. I'm there before he even finishes the sentence, and soon my face is bouncing off his skull. Yep, okay, we've been here. Oh my gosh. The black shadow creature contorting and bending through the sagebrush that Carl was having so much trouble moving through. Getting close. Carl falls. Maybe I'll just wake up in my dorm, probably late to legal and ethical issues in journalism class. Fuck, get up! A muffled voice breaks through my haze of confusion and pain. Then I'm being yanked back up as Carl pulls me to my feet, forcefully shoves me back onto his back. Get up! I'm trying. I can barely mumble through my numb mouth, which feels like it's full of pennies. Oh, they're at the fire. They imagine a snake. Carl doesn't know. Heat is almost unbearable. Eyes dazzling red. Back away. Can't open them. Glued shut. Sleep paralysis. Ceiling texture. How long have I been asleep? So this is the part where they're back in the house and Jenna was being hung. Chase is stinky because the writers have a musk fetish. I'm not sure why or how, but I remember the knife, the one that we had carried through the halls. Was it still out there? It's really my only option now. With a great deal of regret, I let go of Jenna, leaving her to dangle and struggle again, though it's much weaker now. With a sense of urgency like I've never known, I tear out into the hallway, taking a hard right as I sprint down the hall. I'm not sure where I am. I can't remember the setup of this place. I take the first left, and just like that, I see the knife laying on the floor in front of the door we disappeared through. Gasping in relief, I almost face-plant as I bend over to snatch it up, then turn on my heels to run back. When I take the turn again, I see Carl standing at the door, peering in at Jenna. "Carl!" I gasp at him, and he moves out of the way as I run into the room. "Carl, help me with her!" And Jenna's not really moving now, and I slash at the rope uselessly for a moment before forcing myself to focus and start sawing at the rope. Carl seems to hesitate at the door. "Carl! Carl, help me!" Carl walks up in, looking at the fennec before sort of hoisting her up a bit. I saw as fast as I can, but the rope is thick, and it takes a good minute to cut all the way through. I'm a couple millimeters from the other end when the rope snaps and all three of us come crashing to the ground. We lay there in a heaving heap. The only sounds is our gasps as we all try to catch our breath, Jenna breathing the loudest. So yeah, already things are turning very, very differently. But I'm going to have to go ahead and cut this one off here. Sorry that a lot of this is going to be quiet. I'm probably going to cut out a good bit of this where I'm just scrolling and skipping through. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night, guys.